Greetings, pro wrestling fans, and thank you for joining us at the Pro Wrestling LookBack Podcast. I'm Nick, and I'm sitting here with...
Don the Model Martel, a.k.a. Whiskey Don. He's back.
Yes. Bro, I do the same thing at the beginning of every show, but like, fuck. That's a good one.
That was
and you
pretty
gave
solid.
them away.
Yeah, I got a little modeling career on the side. You didn't know about that?
No. I know about all the other side jobs
the offers are coming
other than
in.
the podcast, but...
Calvin Klein.
Oh, no.
Hey, buddy.
Serious?
Yeah, I'm here, man.
I'll fall for anything. But, yeah, it's Nick and Don sitting in. We got a new guest on the show. We're going to be doing a look back today. We're sitting in with...
John Doe.
calling himself John Doe for today.
Certain purposes?
Don't want to use the real name?
No.
Fair enough. Maybe we'll get it out of him mid-show. But, yeah, this is going to be a look back. We're just going to probably stick to the look backs for a little while now. Roundtable might be taking a little break. Intercontinental Title show might be taking a little break. We'll see where it goes. But, yeah, we're sitting in doing the look back. We did Summer Slam 1992.
Oh, yeah.
Special year for me, year I was born. This pay-per-view took place before I was born.
As well as me.
Don? No, I think you were born there, John.
I was born. I was 5 months old at that time.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I was
5
2.
months.
I was 2.
Yeah.
Don was rapping.
I remember every bit of this show.
Every single bit?
No, not every single bit, but little back note side story quick for you guys. As a kid, I used to, as I got older, obviously not when I was 2 years old, but maybe, age of 7, 8, I used to go to the Blockbuster. Hey, I know you guys don't know. Some people know about it. Some people don't. I used to go to the VHS store.
We're 2 years younger than you. We know what Blockbuster
Not you guys.
is.
No, not you.
Okay.
Just the fans of Whiskey Don out there.
Martel.
That's it, Martel. But yeah, no, I remember renting this one. Definitely, I've rented it, and obviously the main event with Bret and Bulldog is so famous amongst wrestling fans, and in the Intercontinental Title scene itself, it's like a huge match. So, yeah, it was a special one for me too.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
No, absolutely. I totally agree. This was one of the, I don't know, I say it every show, but this is one of the better pay-per-views we've looked at. I don't think we've looked at any bad ones so far, other than maybe the last one wasn't the best. The main events were good. SummerSlam 2011, definitely check that out. Good show.
Yeah, I'm definitely an amateur when it comes to watching wrestling. I've had my fair part in it, but watching this 1992 SummerSlam, there were some amazing deep stories that I have not seen in new modern wrestling, or very few times I have.
Yeah. So you enjoyed it overall?
Yeah, most definitely. The most memorable matches of that was Macho Man versus the Warrior, and also what was the last one there?
Bret and Bulldog.
Yeah,
Bret
Hart and
main
Bulldog.
event.
Yeah, absolutely amazing, especially since they had the sister in that aspect. And that's something that's real, right? You can't fake that story.
No, exactly.
No, absolutely. And we're going to dive into every match. And Tanner, I'm happy you brought that up because it's something we wanted to talk about. You're kind of more of a casual fan. You'll pop in for the odd Raw or SmackDown every once in a blue moon, and maybe more than once in a blue moon, but pay-per-view here and there. You're not really somebody that's following wrestling outside of the times that you're hanging out with me and Don and Younger and Mike and kind of the Pro Wrestling LookBack crew. But we're happy to get you on and get your perspective, and I think it's cool for anybody that is listening to our shows continuously. We do appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate it as well, and hopefully from this outward perspective, I can give some input.
Absolutely, man. No, it's definitely going to be a good show. I'm looking forward to it. I think we should go right into kind of the main stuff that I bring up before we get into some major points, and then the first match. So, like I said, SummerSlam 2002 took place London, England.
92, sorry.
Did I say 2002?
Yeah,
You did.
Oh, no. We're starting it off bad, but that's what we do here at the Pro Wrestling LookBack. No edits.
A little whiskey's been mixed.
Yeah, no edits, and Whiskey Don's here.
Whiskey Don brought the...
Whiskey's done.
But, yeah, so London, England, 1992. Like I said, SummerSlam 1992. It took place August 29th at Wembley Stadium. The attendance was 80,000. Pretty solid, attendance, especially for 1992. I know that wasn't a regular thing.
I don't mean to correct you, but on the show they said 8,000 or 85,555.
Yes, yeah, exactly. No, Tanner's see, I like this. Casual fan, he's coming in,
got the facts.
and he's getting the proper stats for me. I like it. But, yeah, they billed it as the SummerSlam that you thought you'd never see. I don't know That was kind of the tagline
Yeah, I think that was just because of the fact of where they were.
in England.
In England, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, that does make sense.
It was like the first pay-per-view really they did there. They haven't, done much there. I know back even in the Attitude Era, they used to bring these little events to the UK, and they would be a pay-per-view, but not really fall in line with like the Backlash, Judgment Day, those. But I forget what it was called, Rebellion or something. There was like there was a little tour they used to do.
And they'd go to England?
Yeah.
And it was like a pay-per-view type of style of show?
Yeah,
or
they
no?
would treat it like a pay-per-view. Like it was available on pay-per-view, and you could purchase it after as its own DVD. Yeah.
That one I can't say I've heard of, but at the same time, I don't know. I definitely wasn't watching it this time, and I haven't really gone back and watched too much of this in full pay-per-view like the way we do at the Look Back here. I've watched individual matches. I've watched WrestleMania rewinds. Obviously, I've seen clips and numerous stories of Bret and this match happening, the main event and stuff. So that's really cool. I enjoyed it kind of as a whole. I think there's one thing I will bring up later as far as negatives go, but I don't know. Is there any major points, not standout moments like we do at the end of the show, but just major points you guys want to bring up before we go into the first match?
For me, like I said, I think right at the beginning when we started off the show watching it, I was just like, just seeing the crowd, man.
Yeah, the daylight was pretty cool too, no?
I love that transition, yeah.
Yeah, the crowd, especially with the air horns and all that, they were extremely involved into what was happening in the ring.
Yeah, I think we can get the sound effects machine going. Give the crowd in England.
Yes, round of applause.
Round of applause.
In 1992. We'll give them a crowd. Most of them probably grown up by now, but...
Yeah, 30-plus years old, ones that were our age.
Yeah. But yeah, I had it put kind of at the top. This doesn't really have anything to do with the first match or anything, but no women's matches on this show.
You're right.
Kind of different. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not
maybe I can touch on it a little bit.
Yeah, go.
I feel like a lot of these, it wasn't a common thing. I don't even know at this particular time there might have not been an actual champion.
Oh wow.
Either.
Do you just think it had to deal with the timeline?
It was just back then. It wasn't as big of a deal as it is now with the whole revolution and obviously, but
yeah.
Even like they like to highlight stuff from the era of like the Fabulous Moolah and Mae Young and these women of like yesteryear, but I feel like even then like they show it now and pay homage and respect to the vets, but it's still, even at its time, wasn't such a big deal. It was
maybe prior, like more in early 80s, late 70s kind of thing.
Yeah, like it was there, but I don't know even if they put as much spotlight as they made it seem like
they actually did.
They're actually,
Yeah, no, I totally know what you mean about that. Tanner, I had it written down. What was your thoughts on Vince McMahon on commentary? I know Don's seen a lot of it, and I've seen enough of it, but you being kind of somebody coming and watching.
I think Vince McMahon probably lost his voice after that night because he lowered that very deep.
Yeah, he had a very...
And he gotta give him credit.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, he kept it on, the whole 2 hours and 47 minutes?
Yeah.
Like, he did not stop whatsoever.
Yeah, it was consistent, that's for sure.
I miss that. I'm not a huge fan, but I miss that Vince McMahon was partaking in the social aspect as a commentator.
Yeah.
And he did a hell of a job.
That's what I was just gonna say. Honestly, I always liked Vince on commentary. He used to be him and Jesse Ventura at times. I think him and Monsoon were a combination, and him and Heenan as well. Vince was good on commentary for sure.
Oh, he did a fabulous job. The one guy was pretty savage though, I gotta say.
Oh, Bobby Heenan. Yeah.
I know he's old school, but making the comment towards the English Bulldog's wife there and Bret Hart's wife saying, if you don't like what you're seeing, go home and stay in the kitchen and do the dishes. Yeah. That was pretty savage.
It was some pretty old school stuff you would not hear in 2018.
Most definitely.
That's for sure.
Yeah, Bobby Heenan was definitely like an all-time great heel. On whether he was like
for commentary, most definitely. He probably got people going.
He was also a manager, and he managed a bunch of amazing wrestlers and did the commentary as well. So he was great. Always as a heel too.
Yeah. Never played the good guy. No. Always the bad guy, eh? Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, and he was a wrestler way back.
Yeah, way back,
Way back, so.
If you don't mind me asking, how old was he probably in the 1992 Summer Slam?
I would honestly have to pull that up and look into it for you. I can get that information.
Yeah, he was definitely an older gentleman, though.
For sure, yeah. He passed away last year, so
Yeah,
rest in
respect.
peace to Bobby, and
Rest in peace to
shout out
Bobby.
to one of the greatest managers and commentators, I would say, of all time. But do you think after Don gets kind of that information about Bobby, do you guys want to maybe dive into the first match?
Most definitely.
We had Ted DiBiase and IRS with Jimmy Hart versus the Road Warriors, Legion of Doom, and Paul Ellering kind of came out on some motorcycles and stuff, and I don't know. I thought the match was a perfect match after it was finished. I thought but a perfect match to start the show.
Most definitely, I agree with you there, Nick. I loved Wyatt's father. You can't give the RIS guy any fucking backlash.
IRS, yeah.
He was a beauty. I don't know. The Suspender's whole outfit goes good. I was unfortunately not too fond of his tag team partner.
DiBiase.
Yes.
Yeah, see, I feel like it'll be a theme throughout this whole thing, but the fact that this was older, I feel like the storylines were better and the storytelling was better, so
I
Tanner
agree.
being more of an outsider fan, it was easier for him to like buy into some of the stuff that was happening.
Yeah, most definitely.
So like not liking DiBiase, for instance, and we'll go more into it later with the whole Mr. Perfect and Ric Flair stuff, but yeah, good point, man.
Yeah, most definitely. And I love the Road Warriors. I was happy that they won that match.
Yeah.
For sure. Don, did you have the... I feel like...
Oh, yeah. No, here, take a look at that for a second. Because I know... So, Bobby Heenan, he passed away, last year we said? At the age of, 72.
Yeah.
So, in 1992, my math is not a little... It might be a little
Tanner
off.
might have to help us with that one.
Bobby Heenan, 1992.
How
How old did you estimate him to? Yeah, showing how poor...
math skills all three of us
Don's
have.
math skills are. But nonetheless.
More
yeah,
or
he was a
less.
little bit older.
Yeah, I would say like early 50s
Yeah.
Yeah.
in that range. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to do the math, and I feel bad that people are probably... And anybody listening to this is probably like, what the fuck
We'll
are
probably
these
see a
guys
few
doing?
comments, but that's okay.
Yeah, leave them below, because I'd love to hear good and bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, first match, Don.
I was gonna tell you actually. I love the way that this show started, and I think maybe we have the same opinion,
I completely agree.
right? Like
Yeah, most definitely.
the crowd was definitely
Crowd was
yeah.
livid and amazing for the Summer
Yeah.
Slam. Absolutely amazing. They
Perfect way
were
to start
interacting
it.
with the whole scenario that was going down, the whole aspect of the wrestling, everything.
Well, even just like in the match itself, you got that team between Ted DiBiase and IRS. Like you could tell the way they worked the style of the match, like very heel, like in their
How
tactics.
long were they together? Was that like a long...
Oh yeah, that was a long thing. Money Incorporated,
Really?
they were called. Yeah,
It's a clever name considering it's the IRS. And
and then you got Ted DiBiase, who's all about the money.
The money.
and-
Exactly.
yeah. So yeah, and
Very
then
clever promo.
the Road Warriors they were super over everywhere, especially at this time. So it was great. You got like the ultimate good guy tag team against the ultimate bad guy tag team.
Yeah, most out of that match, though, was probably Wyatt's fall that impressed me the most. But
IRS.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Yeah,
see, I
he's-
didn't know that. Don told kind of both of us that
Yep.
Bray Wyatt's dad was IRS.
Yeah.
We didn't
I
know.
had no idea until Donovan said it.
So that was kind of cool to learn that. No belts in this match. How'd you guys feel about that? And to back that up as well, who did you guys think was going to win going in?
Road Warriors.
You thought that going in?
I did.
Yeah.
Okay. Any particular reason?
I know I'm not the most veteran wrestling, but I knew at the time that they were extremely popular and huge.
Yeah, you could tell by the pop that they got from the crowd as well,
Yeah.
probably, right?
And the fan base, most definitely. You could just see it in the crowd.
Yeah.
Nice. Did you want to bring anything up, Don?
No, just like you had mentioned as well about IRS. Yeah, he worked really well throughout this
Extremely
match.
well.
I remember as
Crisp,
a kid.
I think you wrote.
Sorry?
Crisp.
Yeah, just very crisp. All his movements. He was
Very clean.
yeah.
Very clean.
And I don't remember that as much because when I used to watch this as a kid, obviously I just was totally against him because he's the bad guy. And
Of course.
he's a guy wrestling wearing a fucking suit and suspenders.
Yeah, I completely
You're
understand
not
what
gonna
you're
cheer
saying.
for him as a kid.
Which-
I can totally
yeah,
understand
Most
that.
definitely.
Now we can look and appreciate it and laugh and enjoy it, but
He was
as
a clean
kid,
wrestler.
I was
Very
like, yeah,
clean.
fuck this guy. And okay, now I'm glad I remember this little side note. And shout out to Mama D out there, my mother, because there's true story, guys.
Mama D.
I used to want a fucking mohawk because of the Road Warriors. Like, no lie, as a kid. Like, I remember telling my mom
Mama
that.
D was not having
Yeah,
it? Or
not
what?
how she wasn't having it. I was like, I want a mohawk. Like, just running around as a kid, be like, I want a mohawk.
Well, how many kids will want to run around with a mohawk and having shoulder pads on with spikes? That is
Seriously.
literally a dream come true.
I probably wasn't the only one.
Hence the name Road Warrior. Reminds me of some Mad Max stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Awesome tag team.
very creative.
I thought the same thing about the whole Mad Max.
Yeah.
To be honest, they must have. I don't know. Must have had
some
some
type
type of because the Mad Max movies were like early '80s.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I would assume.
Yeah, I
there's
think the
some
first
kind
one was actually probably in 78 or 81.
Yeah.
It was.
yeah, you might be right. It was.
It
maybe
wasn't
late,
Road
late
Warrior.
70s.
Yeah, Road Warrior was number 2, and then Thunderdome was number 3, and I think it was just Mad Max for number 1, if I recall correctly. And then the newest one was with Tom Hardy.
Yeah,
And that was Fury Road.
Yeah.
yeah. Before we go back into
I've seen them all.
that match, if you guys are interested, new podcast possibly coming. Fourth Rock from the Sun. If you're interested in more talks like that.
Lots of different perspectives
stay
and
tuned.
intel. Stay tuned.
Anyway, any other stuff? I had down that Ted was pretty ruthless. I mean, obviously, given that he's a heel, it's kind of a given, but more aggressive and ruthless than anybody else in the match. That's for sure.
Yeah, they worked a lot of Hawk.
Yeah,
Hawk
and he had the rope.
Yeah.
Or the tag rope. I think he was using it like a chokehold.
And choking him, with
the tag rope. And then we had our classic LOD. What's the finisher? I forget the name. The electric chair thing.
The Doomsday or the Doom device.
But they didn't do that, did they?
No, they didn't. They tried for it, and then I think Jimmy Hart came up and distracted them, and he had dropped him down, and then
into
Hawk,
a regular electric chair.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Hawk hit like a leg drop or an elbow drop or something?
Oh, for the finish?
Yeah.
Or at that point, no. So Hawk was on the top rope, and then he jumped down, and he just gave IRS a clean punch to the face.
Oh, okay. So clean punch to the face. Decent match. Like I said, really good opener, in my opinion. Especially, I don't know, 1992, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, no,
like we've stated a million times on Pro Wrestling LookBack Podcast. Opinion-based. We're here to just give opinions, and I don't know, we're not bookers, we're not professionals, but these are our opinions.
Exactly.
You guys want to go on to the next match?
Yes, sir.
I figure we should do that. But before we do that, like I always do, check us out, Instagram and Twitter, at PWLookBack on both of those, Instagram and Twitter.
PW LookBack.
There you go. Tanner's got it already. I love it. Pro Wrestling LookBack at gmail.com is if you want to send us any emails for any reason, send it there. The website, which has all the videos posted to them, just in case you guys want to go somewhere different than YouTube, make it a little bit easier for you. ProWrestlingLookBack.wordpress.com. Facebook and YouTube, again, are at Pro Wrestling LookBack. So, yeah, we'll move on to the next match. Don't forget to check us out on the social media stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Before the next match, though, guys, we had a promo from Ric Flair.
Ah, yes.
Looking really good. Tanner, I know you mentioned that. He was looking pretty young.
He was looking healthy, you know. It was 26 years ago, and he was looking fresh and strong.
That robe, too.
Yeah. You
Shout out
give
to
it
Ric Flair's robe.
You can't lie. How many people wouldn't mind coming out of the shower and putting that damn robe on?
Oh,
Seriously.
this guy. This
this
guy right
day.
here. I wear a robe every morning.
You'd feel like
ladies and
a player.
Yeah.
But yeah, he being the man, basically. Not much else to say other than
Yeah.
Ric Flair being the man. To be the man, you got to beat the man.
Good.
Said,
Well said.
said by the man himself.
Yeah.
But I have a question, kind of, Tanner. I mean, you can give your thoughts on what you saw tonight, but this one's kind of more for Don. We had a promo with Virgil next.
Yes.
Talk to me about Virgil, because I've heard a lot about his name.
Yeah.
In the last 3 years,
Just because of shenanigans. Lately,
I mean, between the Young Bucks and just, I don't know. I've heard the name a lot in the last 2 to 3 years, but I've never seen him. This is the first time I've ever seen a match.
Yeah.
A promo. I mean, it's nothing crazy.
Yeah, no.
Excuse me. But, I don't know. Give me your thoughts on Virgil.
Quick
and what,
rundown on Virgil. So Virgil, actually, he started out with Ted DiBiase, who was in the last match with IRS. So before there was... actually, I don't know if I don't think IRS was around at the time, but Virgil was basically... He worked for Ted DiBiase. He was his heater, his sideman, his bodyguard. He protected Ted, and
for a while. Like,
was
he wearing a suit, or was his gear different than the?
Oh yeah,
the
totally
popcorn?
different. Totally different.
So
yeah.
he played the role.
Yeah, he actually didn't wrestle
Shout
as
out
much.
Popcorn pants, Tanner.
Popcorn pants.
Popcorn pants.
But no, Virgil. He didn't.
I think
he
I
didn't
just
actually.
gave away your name too. Sorry to cut you off. Don.
It's okay. But no, Virgil. He didn't.
Virgil.
He didn't wrestle as much. But he was always in Ted's corner, like the same way that Jimmy Hart was. That was Virgil. He was the side man for Ted. And then eventually, the two had split. And I think the plan was for Virgil to be. They seen potential in him because he's got a good look, you know, as you seen back here. Like, he's got a good look to him. And they were trying to push him as that white meat baby face, just a clean, all around, like, you know,
happy-go-lucky.
Good guy. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. So that was the whole thing with that promo. What was that? The line he said, "Too legit to quit."
Yes, it's funny you said that because I have that written down,
Yeah.
and I had decent promo, I guess, for the 1990s. Not to say that the promos were bad in the 90s, but it was a very
cliche, like
1990s babyface, white meat cut babyface promo. Exactly.
So I think he got the rub off like Ted in that feud, and then the plan was for him to kind of do his whole solo thing, but he never really lived up to the potential I think that they thought he had. So that's the whole thing with Virgil.
So that's why he never really.
Yeah,
I see. Trying to think of somebody who I can say kind of did that nowadays.
Alex Riley. I that right off the bat, I think of Alex Riley in The Miz.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I guess that's true.
Yeah,
Because he didn't really. Yeah.
Like he cornered The Miz
and then he didn't really. His career didn't really pan out the way people would have thought. No, that's a good point. Before their match, we had a really random. I want to bring this up because I think it's funny. But the SummerSlam hotline.
Oh yes.
What was that about?
$1.49 for a minute, 99 cents after 2.
Yeah, and they had the phone number all covered up, saying not a phone number anymore. And
well, just in case, you know, many people have probably tried calling into that number after years of it.
Yeah, random side note, totally off topic to the Pro Wrestling LookBack. But remember that time you had that mug of mine from Breaking Bad, and you called the number?
I do.
And
I know this story.
And it came up as like
at Albuquerque.
Legitly, and that was smart promo on the show's part.
Yeah, totally off topic, but cool point.
No, I remember that.
Similar in the sense of a phone number you can call.
I remember calling it. I didn't think it was going to be anything, but it actually came up as some Breaking Bad.
Yeah, what was it? Saul.
It was Saul.
It was a Saul lawyer.
It was literally Saul's law firm that came up as an answering machine on it. But they did that as a promo with the cell phone number that was equated with the phone.
On the mug, yeah.
Good move.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, mug.
We're gonna have a Pro Wrestling LookBack hotline soon, so you can call Don the Model Martel, and you can book me.
Or at Fourth Rock Pod.
There you go.
Oh man, Don the Model Martel.
Yeah.
I think we should go into Virgil and Nails.
Yeah, Nails. What was your off the bat, like when you seen him? What did you think right away? Without
he played the role.
Well, the first thing I have written down under Virgil versus Nails are who the fuck are these guys?
Because I guess you'd never.
So you told me who Virgil was.
Yeah.
I
could tell you a little bit about Nails. What I know.
Shawshank Redemption. I mean, I don't know, man. Like this kind of falls into the category of like cliche '90s characters like the Garbage Man and other shit like that. But I don't know. I don't want to chirp him because I don't know much about him. But it was kind of a sloppy match. And
it was.
I don't know. I guess I can go to the finish a legal chokehold to win or to lose, like to, you know.
Yeah.
What was?
It was weird.
I don't know.
It was
weird. Honestly, I think Nails perfectly played his role.
Yeah, he. I don't know, the whole jumpsuit thing, like coming out of jail, the character just wasn't like. I don't know. It wasn't for me. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You know, coming from an amateur aspect and looking outside of the sport, I think he played a fantastic role. He played it very, very well. On par, I'd say, with like Kane or the Undertaker.
Because he had that look to him.
Maybe
like
not Undertaker, but I know the road that you're going down. I understand.
He played the character perfectly fine. You know what I mean?
For what they probably
he was
asked
a big
him
boy,
to do.
and he looked like partially a psychopath.
And his style, I think you mean like also even in his style of wrestling.
How he wrestled,
like choking, always choking.
Most definitely, very aggressive. When he put him on the ground with a nightstick and choked him out after the disqualification.
Yeah, totally.
And this was all based around like, I'm not trying to toot the guy's horn or give him too much credit because I know Nails, he wasn't even really around that long. He had maybe a short run, but it was ultimately to have him fight the Big Boss Man, who was the cop. That was his gimmick. Sounds super hokey, but like,
that
the
does
escaped
make
convict
sense.
versus the cop. Like they mentioned even the Big Boss Man on commentary. They're like, I know the Big Boss Man's watching somewhere.
I wouldn't mind watching that. Just for the laugh aspect of it.
I know it wasn't very intellectual when it came to the most fanciest moves, but it was still a very entertaining wrestling match for myself. Very, very much so. Just probably because of the aggressiveness that Nails brought to the match.
Yeah. Overall, I guess pretty good. They did what they needed to do. They probably weren't expected to do much more than.
The crowd seemed pleased. I was pleased, so that's all that matters.
Fair enough. After that, we had a Macho Man dressing room investigation.
Ah, yes.
Not much to say about that.
Can we talk about the icon that was drawn?
Oh, that was.
That was Warrior. We'll get to that later. That was embarrassing. But then Sensational Sherry kind of backstage with Mean Gene talking about Sean. Typical backstage promo. Nothing too crazy. But I guess we should probably go right into the match. Shawn Michaels and Rick Martel.
Personal favorite of mine, Rick Martel.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's going off the name that you chose
No,
for
it just
tonight?
always has been.
Tanner, how did you feel about these two and kind of being the outsider?
Honestly, the match was pretty well amazing. And I can understand the aspect. They're both like playing that role of pretty boy.
Yeah,
so
Sean's
they don't want
hair.
to.
Shout
Yeah,
out to Sean's hair.
they don't want to do no shots to the face, right? I love the aspect that they were fighting over the girl,
Yeah.
but her ass looked great too in the Summer
Shout out
Slam.
to Sherry's outfit.
Sherry's outfit was on par.
Yeah. Well, maybe above par, under par. No, above. I don't know. Better than par. Sean's hair was pretty insane, like I said. Good promo before with Sherry and them. I was
Yeah.
kinda,
He was repping that 1992 flow like a beauty.
oh, hell yeah, he was.
I would be lucky if I could grow something out like he did.
How about Sherry singing the music instead of Sean?
Yeah. Yeah.
How'd you feel about it?
I remember it. It was cool.
You know, I didn't know the difference till Donovan said it,
Yeah.
but it was cool. You know, I'm more
Accustomed
used
to, like, the...
more accustomed to him singing.
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But she did a fantastic job, and I was grateful to even hear that aspect in the history of that WWF moment.
Yeah, and the mirror coming in on the entrance. How
yeah.
about that?
Yeah, that visual, man, it stood out to me. At that moment, I remember watching this match, and I was like, damn it. I remember it was so long ago, but I was having little flashbacks of when I was a kid watching this pay-per-view. Because I totally remember, especially when it got to the end, the whole things that went down at the end of the
That's actually,
match.
I don't know, that's really cool.
Yeah.
To be able to have those memories.
Yeah, it looked like a heavy mirror though. She was struggling.
She was
with
carrying
that.
that.
Yeah, she was
I love that
hoisting
Tanner
it.
picked up on that. That's amazing. But yeah, they.
Wait, quick. What did you think of Rick Martel? Because I guess this is probably like the first time you'd seen him, right?
Yeah, again, similar to Virgil. I've heard the name.
Yeah.
A lot. But I don't know much about the guy. I thought it was cool. I want to really get into after the no punching to the face stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that was. I don't know. I'm going to talk about that
Yeah.
in a minute. But the character was. I don't even know what to say. He was. It was just right for the time.
Yeah.
I
Most
think.
definitely.
And the way, like, he portrayed it, I don't know if this sounds stupid, but the way he portrayed it was just good. Like, it just,
Yeah.
maybe similar to Velveteen Dream nowadays.
Yes. Yeah.
He just knew how to portray that character.
Mm-hmm.
He played it very, very well.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's kind of the same, what I'm trying to say. But yeah, like, beginning of the match, typical lock-up start. I thought that was good. Thumbs up on that. Like, I like it.
Yeah, Martel got the lock on
Yeah,
first.
that was solid, that lockup.
It was aggressive.
That first lockup, I just wanted to say, that was really solid.
It
good.
was.
So yeah, like
Yeah.
I said, I don't think I would have wrote it down unless it was, I don't know,
Yeah, yeah.
like to write down a lockup. I don't
Yeah.
know. But it was pretty good. Funny commentary. I can't remember some of the exact phrases by Bobby the Brain and
Savage that he is.
and Vince, but it was good stuff. Sherry fainting in the match.
Okay,
Should I go into that now?
the first feint was definitely believable. But I feel like the second feint, I don't know if it was supposed to be part of the story that was believable, but it definitely seemed way too fake. Like
No.
she was almost anticipating it or edging both of those males on to fight for her.
No, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was faking it. That
Yeah.
was the whole thing. Yeah.
I think I didn't pick up on that
'Cause
until Don brought it
as
up, but
we
I think he's right. I think that she was trying to do that to make them fight over her.
Yeah, well, as we saw in the promo from their prior match, she winked back at Martel.
And even when he gave her the hug in this match, she was really into it.
And even when Martel was carrying her off, she was about it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Hoes will be hoes.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I don't know. I don't want to get into it.
If you disagree with
not
that
something-
comment, just leave it down
all
below.
I was gonna say is it's not something that hasn't happened before in life.
Yeah.
With people.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
a good
most
story.
definitely.
It's a good story to
What?
play off of.
Martel was trying to steal his girl, most definitely, but she was thinking about it. Let's not lie about this. She was about it. She liked that attention from Martel.
Yeah.
For sure.
They're both pretty boys, and she was about it.
Yeah, I just want to go in again, like I mentioned earlier, about the no punches to the face. I thought not only was this perfect between the two characters because they're both, like you guys said, pretty boys. They don't want to punch each other in the face. I thought that was really cool. Sorry, I had a little technical difficulties here, guys.
Yeah, no
maybe,
problem.
maybe somebody else can pick it up while I try and figure this out.
Yeah, the whole no punching to the face thing. I totally know what you're saying. Like they built to it right in the match.
They built the match around that, but at the same time, they were still doing leg kicks to the face. There were certain aspects that were kind of confusing me on that, but how can you have a wrestling match with no strikes to the face?
No, and that was.
I know they tried, but they didn't succeed.
I think I was gonna say like I kind of think that goes to show how good these two guys are because they were working for quite a bit. Like this match went on, I don't know, but I want to say maybe like 10 minutes or so.
Yeah,
it was about 10, 15
before
minutes.
they got
Still
to the
trying to
punch in the face. Like they really built to that, and they had to do everything but that. So
yeah, it's just like the one scene if you saw where he prevented from striking Martel in the face, and then grabbed him by his hair and slammed him on the ground.
Yes.
Martel got up and grabbed him
thing,
and slammed him on the ground by his hair.
And a little side note, we both we enjoyed the jumping jacks in between moves.
Martel. Absolute amazing heel by doing jumping jacks. Meanwhile, Michaels was down.
Yeah. Well, that also was an interesting thing about this match is that these guys are both heels. I thought that was interesting too.
And they both did I looked at Shawn Michaels as
more of the babyface kind of.
Exactly.
Because Martel, I guess, was trying to
steal his girl.
Yeah.
And he was succeeding in that. And I like the aspect of where they were trying to pick up the girl, and they were both striking each other and dropping her.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for her, she was getting beat up pretty good.
Yeah, no, great point. Sorry, guys. I was trying to figure something out just with behind-the-scenes stuff, technical stuff here.
No worries.
But the main point I wanted to go into about the no punching to the face.
Yes.
When you have a match like this and you wait that long to have somebody get punched in the face, how much more does that mean?
Exactly, yeah.
It means so much more. Again, with the fact that the two of them are, pretty boys, that just added to it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just had to bring up the fact, like, I had a star and highlighted it, and this was just a huge thing to me. Very good.
Yeah.
When you wait, everything is better.
When you build.
In
Most
moderation.
definitely.
Like, when you make things, you wait for stuff. It's like nowadays with the pay-per-views, I like the fact that they've dropped down
The anticipation is built up.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't know. That was probably one of my favorite things about this match. But why don't you guys talk more about how they went back and forth with the fainting and the chasing each other down the ramp and all that kind of stuff. I was curious about
honestly for
kind
a
of the
story
difference between the difference between Don's perspective as seeing this maybe once before and Tanner as a complete outsider.
For coming as a complete outsider, it was extremely refreshing to watch something storyline such as this.
Yeah.
I myself, modern 2016, 2018 wrestling I've seen, right? I'm not going to sit here and say I know a lot, but from this aspect, the storyline was so deep. You felt almost an emotional attachment to this. Yeah. Even though she seemed like she was playing both guys.
It's a relatable storyline.
It is. We can all relate somewhat to this aspect, right? Yeah. And I thought it was extremely refreshing, and they played it on point, in my opinion. With Martel during the promo or their fight beforehand, with the wink, and she winked back. And, they come out, and she's cheering for Shawn Michaels the whole time until Shawn Michaels gets hurt, and then he comes over and pulls her away, and she's about it. She's like, "Yeah, Martel, take me away." Yeah. And then next thing you know, she's fainting from the dramatic aspects of the wrestling match, and then they're taking turns trying to carry her out of the match.
Yeah. So we actually, I think it was a double count out, I believe.
Yep.
And then
both were disqualified.
Yeah. And then we had.
Shout out to Tanner for good analysis as a pretty rookie wrestling.
I take my knowledge seriously.
Yeah, he's here.
Good for him.
But no, I thought it was cool. It went on for a little bit, but it was funny. I enjoyed it, like the end when they were both kind of carrying her, and then
it was funny. But at the same time, I wanted, just from like you said, they're both heels, but Shawn Michaels played the babyface. I wanted Michaels to carry her out of the ring.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted.
You're rooting for,
I was rooting for him.
Yeah.
Heartbreak Kid.
Yeah. No, I totally get it.
Yeah, so did we talk about the winner? And who actually won?
Well, no, wasn't it a double count out?
It was a double count
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. So, I don't know. I just kind of wanted to get confirmation.
Yeah. No.
I feel like I don't know what happened and continuing the story from
Mm-hmm.
92 there, but I don't know if Shawn Michaels kept her or if she went to Martel. Do you guys have any knowledge on that?
I definitely don't. Again, like I've said many times on the Pro Wrestling Look Back, I'm kind of more in Tanner's boat. I watched a little bit early 2004 to 2007 and then jumped back in 2015. So I'm not as deep into the 90s, but I've tried to do my research, and hey, that's what the Look Backs are here for. We're here to learn and talk about it and give a different perspective.
Most
At
definitely.
PW Look Back. Check it out.
I don't think she went with Rick Martel, from what I remember.
Yeah.
I think ultimately, I don't remember if this story went on too much longer. They might have had another couple of matches afterwards.
The story died down. She
Yeah, it
stayed
died
with
down.
Shawn Michaels.
Well, eventually, I think how they ended up splitting, I think Shawn actually kind of kicked her to the curb. Like, he was becoming more popular, and the people were getting more into him, and more women were recognizing him. So he was kind of like, I don't need you. He kind
Don't
of
get me wrong. What was her name again, if you don't mind me asking?
Sensational Sherry.
Yeah.
Sensational Sherry.
Yeah,
She had a great body.
Sherry Martel.
Sherry Martel.
Sherry
yeah,
Martel.
yeah.
She had an absolutely great body.
Yeah,
There's
she
no
was-
question about that. I don't even remember when the commentator was like, she's missing a part of her outfit on the back.
Yes, yeah,
That
at
was
the
Vince.
beginning. Yeah,
That
Vince
was
McMahon.
Vince.
How funny was that?
That was great. Yeah.
Because her ass was just hanging out.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
That
but
was great.
I don't know. Her face, she's a pretty girl, don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah.
But I don't know. Selfless more about that 80s haircut. I'm not
Hey,
too much
man,
about
I like
it. But
It's
hey,
cool.
each
Shout
to
out to
their own.
Glow and the
Yeah,
outfits in
yeah.
Glow.
Glow's an amazing show. Watch it on Netflix.
So yeah, no, I think ultimately Shawn kicked her to the curb, and it's just funny because she was his manager, and she kind of helped him. She brought him to the dance. She helped him win titles, and ultimately win matches, and play the whole distraction role, and do things that a heel manager does typically. And then ultimately he ended up kicking her to the curb.
Had enough of that. Eh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but good match.
Yeah, definitely a good match. One of the better ones on the show, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
We might be doing a segment, but do you guys know what happened to her after? Look into nowadays.
Oh, I
No.
believe, honestly, she's no longer with us. Oh, R.I.P. to Sherry.
Oh, she's passed
Yeah.
away.
Yeah,
I
she
did
has
not know
since.
that.
Yeah.
Rest
She
in
has
peace,
since, yeah.
Sherry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
See?
She's a
Shows
great
how much of
manager
a rookie
and great-
fan I
yeah.
am too.
Yeah.
You guys want to move on?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I think we had a quick, before we go into the next match, we had a quick little promo from the Nasty Boys.
Oh, yeah.
These guys were a little intense.
They were intense
I
for
have
sure.
to say. I think I've seen them before, and I know Tanner was a huge fan of the glasses. Any thoughts on the glasses, Tanner?
Glasses.
Or the Nasty Boys at all?
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that sums it up.
That's pretty well sums
Not
it
much
up.
else to say about that. Pretty good promo.
Yeah, they're nasty. They get the nasty award.
It was an aggressive, good promo.
That's for sure.
And they were also managed by Jimmy Hart, too, at the time.
His
It was
suits
funny because
are
what-
absolutely amazing.
Weren't
too.
they asking for a title match? And he's like, yeah, sure.
Oh well, at first he seemed scared
Hesitant.
hesitant to
He-
answer
He
that.
promised Ted and IRS a title match.
Yeah, he was absolutely bullshitting it in my
Yeah.
opinion. But you gotta give Jimmy Hart for his suits. That
Oh,
guy
yeah.
knows how to pick class.
I
Absolutely amazing.
I thought potentially that they were going to come out in the next match.
I remember you saying
I
that,
thought so as well too.
Yeah. That match being Bo and Blake with what was he?
yeah. The Genius.
The Genius.
Lanny Poffo.
Lanny Poffo, the Genius, versus
Our boys.
our
Our
boys.
boys.
I figured we'd
I got a good earthquake story for
Yeah.
everyone.
throw it in. The Earthquake Boys. Give a
You
little
gotta
shout
give
out
credit
to them.
to Earthquake and Typhoon.
Yeah, champions, tag team champions.
1991 to 92 was their formation of the Legion of Doom.
No, not the Legion of Doom.
Well, that's what they were called.
No, that's the Legion of Doom was the Road
The
Warriors.
Road Warriors.
It was apparently
Familiar.
well, they had a formation and feud. Sorry,
Okay.
with the Legion of Doom
Okay.
from 1991 to 1992.
Tanner's
That is
brushing
my
up on his
apologies.
research.
Yeah,
It's good to hear. It's good to see.
I misread that.
Yeah, it's all good. So they're huge.
Yeah,
These
the
guys are
combined weight
massive. Combined weight of 850 pounds, roughly.
It was about 872
That is
pounds between the
crazy.
two.
So close to
men.
900 pounds between the two of them. Pretty insane.
They were big boys, put it that way.
Yeah.
Great wrestlers, though.
And
honestly.
from what we watched, they were very movable.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, the match was pretty good for how big these guys were and how short we thought it was gonna be at the beginning.
Yeah. No, it definitely went a lot longer
Yeah.
than I think we all thought.
Now they had about a 2-year run together, and they split
Yeah.
in 1993 to 1994, and they rejoined back in 2001.
Oh well, that's
Nice.
nice. I did not know
I
that
remember See, and yeah, I think I brought that up when we were watching it. It's weird because I remembered them as heels, and I remember Earthquake a lot as a heel, fighting Hulk Hogan and stuff.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, I spoke to you about the match in 2001, and it was when they hosted a sort of a reunion for the natural disasters, and they were both involved in the gimmick Battle Royal of WrestleMania
17.
Yeah, 17. Excuse me, my Greek is not, or my Roman is not on par. But yeah, you remember the match, don't you, Donovan?
Yeah. They were both in that Battle Royal.
How about Bo and Blake?
Yeah.
With Lanny.
About Bo and Blake, I wasn't too fond of them, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think any of us were.
Forgettable. Is what
they
word
were.
I would use.
That's the best word you could use, Nick, is forgettable.
Well, the funny thing is, like, seeing them with Lanny, too, I remember seeing this team, like, the visual of their clothing and having him with the whole gown and hat, Lanny Poffo, right? I remember seeing them as a younger fan watching, but yeah, nothing too like memorable. It was
Lanny Poffo either.
Yeah, no, that just hit me today.
Randy Savage's brother, for anybody.
I thought that was really cool. But yeah, Earthquake, man, he was always like to me a larger than life character as a kid.
Yeah, I think I've seen more videos of him as the Shark Man in WWE or WCW. Sorry.
Yeah, see, I remember Donovan telling me about that. And I was like, no way! I need to see some footage on this.
Yeah, I don't know.
And this was John Tienta, like Earthquake.
Yeah,
yeah, same guy, but I don't know. What did you guys think about the metal scroll?
Yeah, that was interesting.
That was I first when I saw it, I thought it was the bell that he was smacking him with.
So did I, yeah. That's exactly what I thought.
But I'm curious about this metal scroll, to be honest with you.
We need to look up the metal scroll.
I don't know much of the story background on it, but
it was probably a weapon. I mean, they were the heels, so I feel like they probably used it more often than not to cheat and win.
And they did an amazing wrestling match.
They were good. They still worked. They still worked pretty well.
They did, and I wasn't too surprised on the finisher. I forget who it was, Earthquake or Typhoon pinning Bo or Blake. It was Earthquake.
Yeah.
Was he pinning Bo or Blake? They both look so similar.
That one I couldn't tell you, but
I got no idea. But
it was quite the splash.
It was quite the splash, and it was a move that I would not want to be pinned with. Yeah, no. But if we can just give a moment of respect for John Tienta.
Yeah, and I think I got something for you, Tanner, here. This is
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, if you look over there.
We got a video, Tanner. Kind of describe what you're seeing, maybe.
I am seeing the shark. Donovan was not kidding. There is a fin and shark teeth on his head, and the fin. He's got aspects on his beard. He's looking good, honestly. You gotta give him credit for that.
For sure. WCW was a little out there at times.
That's what you needed, you know?
Yeah.
He played a great role. But
so he used to do this thing when he was like a singles wrestler, and he'd come in the ring and he'd stomp around like an earthquake. He's a big guy.
Well, I don't know if you remember the match with Bo and Blake that we watched. Remember when we was stomping that ground for that finisher?
Oh, did he do that as well?
Yeah.
The stomp?
He was stomping that ground. And I remember commenting, I was like, my God, the force behind that man's weight.
Yeah. So he used to jump, like he would get in the ring and he would jump around a bit. And I remember as a kid, I used to get into the elevators, literally off of watching these VHSs, get into the elevators and bounce around like earthquake. Because, when you get in an elevator,
that's amazing.
Yeah, that's another one.
Let's give a moment to John Tienta for passing away in 2006 of bladder cancer.
Yeah. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Earthquake. Typhoon still going strong.
Yeah. So I think that was a pretty good, pretty good match altogether. We should probably move on.
Mm-hmm. If you don't mind me saying one more thing about the match.
Of course.
The match was very well done. There wasn't too many technical moves involved in it. But like you said, Bo and Blake, unfortunately, they are definitely forgettable. But Typhoon and Earthquake, definitely not forgettable.
Yeah.
And on that aspect, we'll move on.
All right, yeah. Let's do that. We'll go on to the next match. Repo Man versus Crush.
Oh, Jesus.
Should we talk about the Bushwhackers before that match?
Their promo was pretty hard, but that's all I think I need to say.
I was never too big on them. It was
kind of odd.
It was weird.
It was.
We'll give them their due. They're in the Hall of Fame as of 2016 or 17, one or the other. I wanted to ask Don more than Tanner, but you can obviously chime in as well.
Yeah.
they really played up a lot of this whole whose corner Mr. Perfect was going to be in.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that.
Like, that was a big deal, and I know we're not going into that match yet, but they at this point, I feel like this was the second or third time they had talked about that. And I don't know if you want to talk about...
Are you talking about with the Ultimate Warrior and Macho Man?
Yeah, but it's just like throughout the night, they consistently brought it up. And like even when Ric Flair did that promo earlier, was it Mean Gene who was interviewing him, I believe?
I believe so.
So I think Mean Gene even asked him, like, well, Ric Flair, like, what's your opinion on this? Because, you know, he works with him. He's like, you know, who do you think? Who do you got?
Gene, I mean.
Who's he siding with? Ric Flair he stayed away from it, which we'll get to that later. But yeah.
I was gonna say I have my personal opinion on this, but I'm gonna save it until we talk about the Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man.
Yeah, we'll try and I don't know, get our way quicker to that match. Repo Man versus Crush is the next one.
Repo Man is AKA Swiper from Dora because he played that role amazing.
AKA the Hamburglar.
Even when he was sneaking behind him. Yeah, he was sneaking behind him, pulling chokeholds. It was amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. Don had it written down, overhead press, and they were really trying to show off the power and strength of Crush.
Yeah, they were really like emphasizing that, I thought.
Yeah, and they claimed the guy was from Hawaii, but
which was interesting.
It was interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't get me wrong, it's an
little squash match.
It was. He was from American State, so...
What an odd way to win, though. He kind of crushed his head.
Literally, that's what I was confused on, you know? There was no, like, limp arm. There was no pin. It was just literally him crushing his head, and they rang the
grabbed
bell.
His head and pushed it together. And it was pretty quick, too. It was pretty abrupt. Like, you said that to me. I remember you asked, you're like, did he tap?
Yeah, like, did he tap?
No,
man,
he crushed his head.
Just got crushed.
Literally just crushed his head, and the judges were like, okay, he wins. He's going to fucking blow this guy's skull up, apparently.
Yeah, not much else to say about this match. I just kind of had written down, did you guys like it overall?
I did like it, except
Thumbs up,
the finish. I was a bit confused on the finish.
It was a good showing for Crush, I thought. Especially, like, I know what they were trying to do with him at the time. So it was a good showing for him.
So
yeah, hence his name.
Taking that sentence seriously.
What?
It was a good showing for Crush.
It was.
Hence his name, Crush. You got to give him credit for crushing the Repo Man's head, essentially. But I was still a little bit disappointed with the finish. You know, I would like to see him tap out, or I'd like to see him go limp.
Yeah.
And they literally just called it from him crushing his head.
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
It was.
Yeah. Next.
What was next?
We had the Ico Pro flashback to Superstars, which this is going to be Don's territory. I'm going to let him take us through kind of the little flashback that we had with Macho Man, Warrior, Ric Flair, and Ted DiBiase.
Yeah, so I guess this was the version of a 1992 promo, hyping up the match.
Kind of a flashback to Raw, maybe?
Yeah,
similar,
exactly, yeah.
Pre-Raw?
Yeah, their version of a promo.
Yeah, I don't know if we told Tanner, kind of off topic, but this is pre-Raw. So Raw
did not exist at this point
at this time. Yeah, Raw hadn't been established as a Monday night weekly television show. That didn't start until, what was it, January of 93?
Yeah.
So it's about a year, a little bit more than a year after.
Less
than a year after.
The coming, not even 5 months.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was something to bring up to you.
Oh, most definitely.
But Don?
Yeah, no, so what it started and they were showing the face off between Savage and Warrior. And then it got to Ric Flair. So the whole story here that was being told is that Savage he won the belt off Ric Flair. And that's why Ric Flair was so involved, and he wanted a rematch. Okay. He wanted to fight instead of Warrior coming in there.
I see.
So that was his whole beef with these two guys. Because they had a whole feud between Savage and even, as you said, like you were asking me maybe what happens after this.
Yeah.
And there's more that happen with these guys down the line, which I'll touch on like when we get to the match. But yeah, so we had the promo package, and there was a match, I believe it was Savage and the Warrior against the Nasty Boys, and there was a little bit of confusion with the team. They couldn't exactly get along due to a distraction that happened, and we seen Savage get kind of pissed at Warrior, which ultimately led to these two getting beat up by the Nasty Boys kind of taking care of the Warrior. And I think, or
it was Mr.
Savage.
Perfect and Ric Flair.
Yeah, Perfect and Flair came in as well. But I think Perfect and Flair were on Savage, and the Nasty Boys were on Warrior, or vice versa. Either way.
I think it was vice versa. The Ultimate Warrior was getting beat up by Ric Flair and Mr. Perfect.
So, yeah, and that was pretty much The promo package.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was. I just wanted to have you kind of go,
Oh, yeah,
go
no.
through that.
And that promo package was amazing because seeing
It
as
gave
the
you a little bit of a
aspect-
background, right? On,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you gotta give credit to Ultimate Warrior after he got his ass kicked by Mr. Perfect and Ric Flair. They left first, and he chased after.
Oh, yes,
them.
he did. He was chasing after them.
Oh my God! Sorry, I'm just reading my notes.
Yeah.
How about Vince's comment about
What?
about Bobby the Brain Heenan looking like a poster boy for a margarine commercial?
Oh, the
Hilarious.
crown.
That
The
was
crown.
fucking
That was an absolutely amazing part in this 1992 SummerSlam when he said, "Hey, the crown you're wearing makes you look like you're in a promo for a margarine commercial."
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What the
That
hilarious.
was line of the night for Vince
Yeah,
for
that was
sure.
Gotta give kudos to Vince. That was probably the best chirp of the night
It was
in
good.
that 1992 SummerSlam.
Yeah. So we had the Fink. I didn't know they ever referred to him as the Fink, but Howard Finkel.
Yeah, I didn't remember that either, but he was the
It-
Fink.
It was.
I thought that was a later
on the
thing.
screen. It said the Fink.
Yeah.
He was looking young. I'll give him that.
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
good. Looking young.
Nice healthy mustache. he had quite the stash on him.
Oh, man. But yeah, we'll go into it. I think you guys are probably, if not this, maybe the main event, the most excited for this. Ultimate Warrior versus Macho Man.
That was an
Um,
amazing
WWE
match.
champion Macho Man versus the Ultimate Warrior. I'm going to ask a couple questions, maybe give a couple points that I thought were good.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think? Maybe the gear is one thing I know you guys brought up right
Oh,
away,
yes.
especially Tanner.
Yeah. I love the Ultimate Warrior's gear that he had. It showed like bones and muscles and aspects. You know, it almost looked like he wasn't. I hope this doesn't come across wrong, but it almost looked like he wasn't wearing anything. Like it was embedded in his body.
Yeah.
It
I
was
know
like
what
a.
you mean. It was
It
almost
was like a
the gear-
visual under his skin.
The
Yeah.
gear was like a part of him.
Yeah.
I feel you.
But
Don-
Macho Man, the colors, absolutely amazing. Wouldn't you agree, Donovan?
Oh, yeah. No, it's funny. I guess, I don't know if you know this for sure, but like these two guys are two of my favorites.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's cool. I always like watching these two go
That's one
against
of the
each other.
questions, don't worry.
Yeah.
I'll get it right now. This is more for Don, but I know, like you just said, I know this is two of your favorite wrestlers of all time.
Yeah.
Can you pick a favorite? Is that something I can do to you on the show?
I don't know, man. I mean, I met the Ultimate Warrior when I was a kid, so
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
maybe by
Yeah.
default, but I've definitely watched. No, it's pretty equal. I know I can't. It's 50-50. It's right down the middle
That's
for
fine,
me.
man. Hey,
Do you
honestly.
care if I give my opinion?
No, of course, go.
I'd probably give my favorite to the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like
After
you were
watching the
siding with
match?
the Warrior.
I
throughout the
was
match,
signing
yeah.
with the Warrior.
At first, you were like kind of maybe more
Well, just-
savage, or
Just how the promo was going, it looked like the Ultimate Warrior sold out to Ric Flair and Mr. Perfect.
yeah,
But it actually turned out to be the opposite. He never sold out.
Yeah.
And it might have seemed that Macho Man sold out. But I could be incorrect, and neither could have sold out. And it was just the aspect of the fight that carried to where it was.
Yeah, I have to say, I mentioned it before we hit record, but hey, Matarazz, turn it down.
Mattress.
sorry guys,
Um,
that was just
Hollywood Don.
yeah.
Whiskey Don.
Polo was trying to get Don the model for a shoot next week. So sorry, my apologies.
But I forget what I was gonna say now. This guy lost my train of thought completely. But I don't know. We can go back into the match, baby.
Yeah,
Oh, most definitely. My favorite aspect of that whole fight was the ending, like most people would agree on. Ultimate Warrior, he technically won, but Macho Man got disqualified
yeah,
for being thrown out. So he still retained the belt, but the Ultimate Warrior knew he did not deserve the belt. And so my favorite aspect of this fight was when he went over to Macho Man
Afterwards, after
Yeah.
the match was over.
as he's holding his knee, picks him up and puts the belt over top of him after he grabs the belt ruthlessly 2 minutes beforehand. And that is sportsmanship at its finest, if you ask my opinion.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it unfortunately, it's something that you don't, I could be incorrect, but it's something you don't see nowadays.
Not as much, no.
No, definitely not.
I feel like people would take that advantage to beat him up while he was on his ground holding his knee. But Ultimate Warrior did not. He hoisted Macho Man up, hoisted the belt over his shoulder, and gave him credit. And Salsa made also a good point when we were talking about this. Macho Man fell over when at first the Ultimate Warrior pulled him up. He sold that amazing.
Oh yeah,
he didn't have to do that. And you talking about that totally brought back what I was going to say before we got train a little bit there. Just kind of you being a newer fan, I love to see how into it you got. Like how bought into the storyline aspect of it you were, not the performance aspect. Like you and I was the same way, but because I hadn't seen it. But it is who's Mr. Perfect with? Is he with Macho Man? Is he with Warrior? What is Ric Flair doing? What, like, why? Oh, did he pay him off? Is this and that? I don't know. I love that kind of stuff. I've always talked about it on the Pro Wrestling Lookback, but storytelling is kind of my favorite aspect of pro wrestling. And
most definitely.
I love to see you getting into it so much.
That's storytelling. Like, this is probably my favorite match of the night. Of the Summer Slam. If I'm gonna talk honestly, it was just the aspect that, like Nick just said, you don't know who sided with who, and honestly, I'm still sitting here confused if neither of them actually sided with Mr. Perfect or Ric Flair, because they both somewhat got shorthanded by each individual.
Yeah, and was Ric Flair and Mr. Perfect out there to just ruin the match?
Well, so
in general,
what I gathered from it was I think that because they said after they did a little interview after with Perfect and
I have
Flair.
That in my notes too. I want to talk a little bit more about the actual
we'll get to the
match
actual
itself.
action, but I just wanted to touch on that quick. They were kind of trying to trick them both. So Savage would maybe think that, hey, they're with Warrior, and that's
to trick them against each other.
But same thing, Warrior would think, oh, he's got him. But really, that plan never worked out for either of them, because they would try to talk to both of them earlier in the night, and that didn't work. Neither one of these guys was gonna, trust Mr. Perfect.
Most definitely.
So ultimately, they were just there to sabotage it. Yeah.
I guess what stood out to me most was
But it was the way they told that story.
Oh, most definitely. It was deep and somewhat emotional, you know, and the sportsmanship in that was a top-tier sportsmanship.
Yeah.
It was amazing to see. And for me personally, it was refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think personally, I haven't watched a lot of Warrior matches in my days, but I think this was better than anything I've ever seen him do with Hogan.
Oh, yeah.
The Hogan matches weren't. I don't know if that's Macho Man showing more.
It's both. These two, I was gonna tell you guys both, like, if you like this match, honestly, it's really good, and because of the story around it and stuff. But like, they had an amazing match year before at WrestleMania 7.
Year before,
it's amazing, great match. Yeah.
So this kind of built from 7 all the way to this.
That one was like a whole different storyline and everything. But it was just they work well together.
Well, that was definitely something we need to watch and review then.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested. I wanted to bring up again at the beginning, kind of the no handshake, but it was a handshake. They kind of hesitated and then pulled each other in really close. Yeah, which was cool. But I don't know. I really just liked the whole story aspect of Mr. Perfect, and I don't know if you guys want to go into how the match actually finished.
Well, what about that one? Some of the in-ring work, like the. I remember that when Savage was on the top rope and Warrior caught him. I remember you really liked that.
Yeah, but you know what? Right before that, I'm happy you brought that up because that was awesome. He kind of jumped and caught him in like a power slam-ish.
Yeah.
Kind of, maybe not power slam.
Crossbody.
Yeah.
Type of,
but the no sell on the double axe handle beforehand, it kind of took 2. At first, I was like, what is he doing? And then it took 2.
Because he got up there,
to get him down, which I was totally fine with. But I don't know, kind of your thoughts?
Yeah, I enjoyed these.
Again, just more like in-match stuff.
Yeah, no, it was good. Just good chemistry they have, and it was very like back and forth too. Like, again, it's a story of the night about these, like, this was face, two good guys going at it, as opposed to like earlier we had Rick Martel and Shawn, the 2 bad guys going at it. So it was cool to see that. I like seeing that sometimes, especially when it's done right like this.
For sure. No, that's the point that I wanted to bring up at the beginning that I totally forgot. Yeah. Kind of the double face, double heel matches that we've had. Totally a good thing. We had the ref going out. Good finish, bad finish. What do you guys think?
I really liked the finish because, as we talked about it, it tied in so well with the story. Like, what was it? I think Perfect and Flair kind of.
So Randy Savage got counted out, right?
Yeah. But he got counted out because he's a class act. Like, he didn't want to take the... Warrior was down only because of Perfect and Flair.
Well, yeah, because he got the chair to the back.
So Savage was up for the famous elbow.
And then he got pulled out and yanked out, didn't he?
No, well, he was going to take the elbow, and then
he didn't want to win.
He looked at Warrior, and he stood up there, and he thought about it.
He knew he didn't deserve it, so he jumped at Flair.
Yeah, because he didn't want to win
yeah,
like that. So that was cool. and then he hurt his leg on the fall.
And that's another aspect of the story that was amazing. He knew he didn't deserve him. He had the Ultimate Warrior at his chance.
Yeah.
And he decided not to jump on that, you know? And he decided to jump against the heels that caused the situation because he was honorable enough to realize he didn't deserve that. And unfortunately, it worked against him, and he got the count out.
Yeah. So ultimately, Savage got counted out for, not taking the easy way out.
Yeah.
So I like that.
And then back around to what Tanner talked about earlier, and Warrior coming in the ring, giving Savage his title, raising his arm, Savage with the amazing sell.
Yeah.
Fantastic match.
It's good.
So at the end of the day, Macho Man still got to keep his belt
Yes.
because of disqualification.
Yeah.
You can't win a belt by
No.
getting
Most definitely, but you gotta give him respect and honor for not capitalizing on the opportunity that he had against Ultimate Warrior because he
to
knew
win clean.
Yeah, because he knew he
In
didn't.
quotations,
Well, he
clean.
wouldn't have won clean.
No, but I mean clean in the sense that it would have been a 1-2-3
It would have been
in
because
the middle of the ring.
he got the chair. The
yeah.
Ultimate Warrior got the chair to the back from Mr. Perfect and Ric Flair, but he did not capitalize on the opportunity, and that's something you just don't see nowadays.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, everything just seems to be about feuding, and this was honestly, I
This was
hate
more
to,
than just a feud.
I hate to use this word, but it was a bromance.
Yeah.
It really
It
was.
was.
Yeah.
No, I totally know what you
Yeah.
mean, man. So after we had Ric Flair and Mr. Perfect backstage, like you mentioned, Don, with Mean Gene, Ric Flair, super intense, kind of.
Yeah.
I had wow written. I was thinking tag team match, kind of like what Tanner was asking at the beginning, but then I think you kind of told us a little more into the Ric Flair wanting to.
No, but that does end up happening. I think where it goes to, it's actually weird because so Mr. Perfect, I think, was actually injured, like behind the scenes at this time, so he was doing more of the managerial role, and it's Razor Ramon and Ric Flair. They team up and take on Savage and Warrior. Actually, as Tanner kind of called it too, like they become a team. And it doesn't last long. I think it only goes on for one pay-per-view, but they got gear done together, like matching gear.
Ooh.
Savage and Warrior. And I want to say they were called the Ultimate Maniacs or something along those lines. Just because these are two guys who, like, if you know their promos, they're very out there with their characters. Like, Savage is kind of all over the place in his promos, and he's looking around and he's doing all kinds of stuff. And then Warrior, he's coming in his promos. We know the Warrior's promos.
They're
right?
both very outgoing.
They're both
characters.
out there.
Yeah.
So it's a cool team.
I'd like to show Tanner some of the crazy Warrior promos that have happened over the years.
I've only seen a few matches with the Ultimate Warrior,
Yeah.
but I'm already in love with the character that he is.
It's great.
But Macho Man carries a good charismatic to him, and his outfits are absolutely on par.
Yeah, which is like part of the reason the guys are two of my favorites. Like they always were very creative with their gear.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, no, that match was just probably one of those most phenomenal things I've seen in the night. There was probably only one other match that came to par with that, and that was obviously the main event.
Yeah.
Like I said numerous times before, the storyline was just. It was amazing in that aspect. I just like the fact that Macho Man didn't capitalize on the opportunity that he had because he knew he didn't deserve it, and he decided to aggressively attack the heels that caused the situation. So, in my opinion, neither of them sold out to Ric Flair or Mr. Perfect.
For sure.
What's your opinion on that?
No, definitely. That's what I was saying. I think it was more Flair and Perfect trying to get in their heads and make them think like. Who's he with? Is he with him or is he helping me now? What's going on?
Yeah. Good guys. I kind of want to go in, make our way through into the main event, and we'll kind of blow through the next one. Not too quickly, but we had Dr. Harry Wimbledon with Kamala.
Harvey Whippleman.
Harvey Wimbledon.
Yeah. Harvey Whippleman. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, Harry.
What a name, right?
Harry Wimbledon.
Yeah.
Completely wrong.
Get
Get it one more time for us, Donna?
Harvey Whippleman.
Harvey Whippleman.
Donovan's got it on par.
Dr. Harvey
Harvey
Whippleman.
Yeah. I watched a lot of these VHSs as a kid, so I know all these guys.
Kamala with the Keeper versus The Undertaker and Paul Bearer.
I don't know if you want to know my opinion on this personally. I'll wait till you guys speak a little bit about it, and then I might come in.
Well, I don't know. The first thing I had written down was dope entrance for Undertaker.
Oh, yeah.
Coming
Amazing
in on the hearse.
entrance.
Wicked.
Paul Bearer walking through with the urn and all that, and then the hearse carrying Undertaker on the back. It was a great entrance.
Yeah.
Celsa's completely correct.
Can't say the same for Kamala. Maybe for the time, but not a gimmick. I think that's what Tanner wants to go into, but not a gimmick that would work nowadays.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're 26 years ahead of the Summer Slam that we watch, so Yeah, I'm not gonna say much.
We don't
want to
go too deep into it, but it's not exactly something that we think would be appropriate in 2018.
Most definitely.
In the match itself wasn't
youthful Undertaker though.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know if the fans and us included, if you noticed, Kamala,
Yeah,
Kamala. His leg kicks to Undertaker were probably the weakest and most.
They
I understand, like it was just weak. Those kicks that he was doing to Undertaker.
Yeah, they weren't too impressive.
They were just not on point. The
I
only
didn't notice
things,
them, but
we did. We kind of looked at each other.
Me and Don were talking about
of course,
it.
the UFC fans are noticing that.
Yeah. Don, we were commenting on
Not
those
the
leg
racing
kicks. They just even for wrestling aspects, they were absolutely horrendous.
Yeah.
But I guess the only thing that was pretty positive about that match was the Undertaker's choke slams and Kamale's fucking body slams in the corner.
The youthfulness of Undertaker was nice to see.
Well, it was.
And bring up, before you talk about that, and I know you're going to talk about something, but bring up the old school.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting to watch an older Undertaker match and see him go up for the old school move because it didn't really have a name then. It was just him walking the ropes and dropping the fist or the clothesline.
Double axe handle or single axe handle. But sorry, what were you going to say before that?
Oh, I was just going to speak on like the credit that Undertaker. I know he definitely gets the credit. You know what I mean? And people definitely look at him as a legend. And he gets his respect. But just a tenor, like I guess, because maybe he doesn't know. It's like at this time. And for a lot of the Undertaker, like early in his career, it's like they always tried to put him against these very gimmicky guys, you know? They would always put him
Undertaker?
Yeah, they would always try and put him against these guys like Kamala, like guys who couldn't really, and no offense, but who weren't that good of wrestlers.
No,
really, you know what I
mean?
Offense
to Kamala, he was not a good wrestler by any means.
But that's the situations. It just goes to show of like the character of the Undertaker and how good he is, because to be able to,
he makes the match good itself by being one single individual.
Because for years he'd had to go on against guys like this who just weren't very impressive.
Yeah,
and he made it work. You know, so.
Credit to the Undertaker.
Yeah,
most definitely. He's probably one of the best wrestlers, the Federation has ever seen.
Yeah. And I know these guys feuded for a bit. It led to
I didn't think the wrestling in this match was anything special.
Yeah,
no, it wasn't.
And this is something
what was the finish again?
Well, let me get into this.
Yeah.
This is a point that I wanted to bring up earlier in the show, and I specifically waited for this moment because I feel like we had enough of it at this point that it's a relevant point to bring up.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to get it out of the way before we go into the main event that didn't have any of this. There was way too many garbage. I don't know what word you want to use. Garbage, dusty, just non-finishes in this pay-per-view.
Salsa makes a very valid point.
There was too many matches that just ended in shenanigans, whether that be count out, whether that be disqualification from another person entering, whether that be crushing someone's head, whether that do you know what I mean? Like there wasn't enough 1, 2, 3 in the ring. Even if it was a heel 1, 2, 3. I don't mean to cut you off, Tanner, but with a chair or a weapon, like you weren't even getting that.
Yeah.
There was a lot of non-finishes in quotations right now is what I'm doing in this audio. But
I'm just coming from an outside perspective, and I completely agree with you, Nick. But isn't it somewhat refreshing that every match wasn't ended with some type of finisher?
It is in this. Yes, you're not wrong. But I think there's when you do a match like this, like I'm thinking of the people that are there too. Like I want to see some sort of satisfaction in some of these matches.
Can we check can we just run down quick of the match without getting to the main event, obviously? But so the first match we had a clean finish, like we had a 1, 2, 3, right?
Yeah.
Which was
the Legion of Doom.
Yeah, that was a 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, hitting a 1, 2, 3.
That was finished by a finisher?
Yeah, the second match we had a hokey finish with
Salsa's right. A lot of them were just like a mediocre move that ended it.
Which was the illegal choke.
Exactly.
From Nails. And then after that we had
Shawn Michaels, Rick Martel.
Which was a double count out. That was another
There
one.
was a lot of count. There was two.
Finish.
Was there 2 or 3 countouts of
Blake and Bev, they lost clean.
Yeah.
So another tag match.
Yeah, another tag match with a clean finish.
Repo Man and Crush.
Crushed his head.
I wouldn't exactly call that a...
It's definitely not a normal finish.
No, most definitely. That's probably the first of the kind that I've seen.
Warrior Macho Man?
I think with that one, though,
I get it.
That
we talked about it.
Yeah,
the story was good.
That was an
made-
amazing story
still-
that went
But
behind
still, no, I
that.
totally get where you're
but
coming
still,
from.
like,
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
Maybe don't do that on the show that already has 4 non-finishes,
Yeah.
or maybe don't
Make the other ones.
Don't
I
do,
know,
don't
but
do so
honestly-
many non-finishes on the show that's going to have this amazing story with Macho Man and Warrior.
Between Macho Man and the Ultimate Warrior, I wouldn't expect or want any other finish to that match because that was a beautiful way to finish it, in my opinion.
Yeah, and they wanted to keep the 2 good guys like looking strong. So I get
Yeah.
it. Like it made sense.
And I'm sure
But
they
no, I
led
totally-
to some type of tag team after that
I get
somewhat,
where-
right, Donovan?
Yeah, they did
Yeah.
a tag. It was one like match, but they were a team. Yeah, they
Right.
definitely were.
No, I definitely get where Nick's coming off here. There wasn't a lot of, fancy finishes and what's up aspect. There
Or
was,
just straight up 1, 2, 3s
yeah,
or submissions.
what was there, 2 or 3 disqualifications in this Summer Slam?
Yeah,
At least
and then the
that.
Undertaker match as well, which led to a weird finish.
Yeah, that was a weird finish. I know
was a
Undertaker
count-out, I
won because of a countout against Kamala, wasn't it?
I think they kind of was it. You have it. I know Nick has it there.
I just want to let anybody listening know that if you're hearing a lot of papers in this episode, it won't happen again.
Things happen.
Yeah.
But the Undertaker finish, it was.
No, Undertaker won that match from a disqualification against Kamala.
Oh, yeah, 'cause the
Exactly.
manager came in.
That's what
Yeah,
brought
Yeah,
me.
the
That's what
manager
brought us
came
to this,
in
yeah,
and
yeah,
attacked the
That's-
Undertaker.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what brought me to
Yeah, there was a lot of it.
the finally bringing this up. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think that segment / match was very good. I mean, I know it's just getting Undertaker over, but I wasn't a fan.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
I don't think. See, you know what? Now that you mention it too, and I look at some of the matches, like it almost it's weird because nowadays SummerSlam is such a. It's looked at as like the WrestleMania of the summer, or it's a big deal, just like the Royal Rumble Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Second biggest pay-per-view
But at
of the
this
year.
time, not to say it wasn't big, like it was definitely still a big deal. But it seems like now looking at these finishes too, like and knowing what happens like after with some of them, they were like trying to trail on almost. Like these were like trail on ways to end these matches to continue with feuds or
Certain ones, I would,
possibly, yeah.
yeah.
like I know Undertaker and Kamala like they feud after like this continues.
It's not over
Yeah, it's
here.
not over. And I know with the whole Flair and all those guys that
You're just saying it
turns
was
into
essentially a starter chapter to something more.
yeah, it was more like a
And
yeah.
unfortunately, SummerSlam is not somewhere in my aspect to start it.
As a
if
cha-
anything,
yeah.
No, it's more of a
SummerSlam is
finisher.
exactly,
Exactly, yeah.
that's somewhere to finish that drama.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's interesting when you think about it like that.
Yeah.
You know?
No, totally.
It's weird.
Totally. We'll go on to the next stuff though, but I think that match was a good place to have it in between Warrior.
Yeah,
And,
for sure.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
And the main event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had some little promos, but from Bret Hart and Davey Boy. I don't know if you guys want
yes.
to talk about those before we talk about the match.
So first we had Bulldog, I think.
Yeah.
And any key points on really his promo? He was kind of just
Just talking about the fact that he was Bret's brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Basically just like, I don't know. I don't want to stereotype, but it's,
Well, he's
it's
rubbing a
generic
little-
90s promos. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's-
cutting it to the camera.
He was rubbing a little salt in the wounds. Put
Yeah.
it that way.
Good, good portrayal actually.
and then we had Bret as well, and Bret seemed
Very intense.
Yeah.
Intense. Tanner was loving the sunglasses.
Oh man, if I could have a pair of his sunglasses back in the day, I'd still be repping those.
Look at that. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. He didn't even watch Bret Hart, and he still wishes he was one of
Yeah.
those little kids getting the glasses.
Comment below how amazing those glasses are, fans.
Yeah, so no, Bret's promo, it was like he was coming off. He wasn't completely heel in like the sense, but he was definitely coming off more like
He definitely came off more of the
more
heel,
of the heel vibe because he was saying like,
because the Bulldog,
Yeah.
is married to his sister and
Bret's
whatnot.
like I introduced you guys, and
Exactly.
you challenged me, so you want to fight? Let's go.
Exactly, and that's how I saw almost 2/4 or 3/4 of the match going. Was Bulldog was more of the aggressor, throwing Bret Hart around, essentially.
Well, Bret definitely took control for a good portion of that match.
He did. I honestly thought, personal opinion, that he was going to win that match.
Yeah.
But he did not, and I was happy to see an English man win that match in England.
Yeah.
What are you
Yeah.
guys' opinions on the Bulldog winning
Well,
that?
I was going to say, I don't know if we were going to get right into the match, but
Yeah, no,
We've jumped right in.
there we go. I was on mute. Sorry about that, boys.
Yeah.
I don't know if we were going to get right into the match. I guess you guys kind of jumped right in. Are we going to talk anything about the wife and the sister?
She's a
Oh, yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
She's a beautiful woman. I'll say that much.
Yeah, with a great Canadian accent. Fuck.
Great,
Yeah.
Alberta.
Touch on it a bit.
I don't know.
Touch on it.
I thought I thought the intros, I didn't talk much about it. I thought the 2 promos between the 2 guys going into the match was good. I like to see that before a match. It
was aggressive, but also a content promo.
And it's right there. It's right before the match, right before the entrance.
Yep.
We didn't talk about it again.
Yep.
The bagpipes. Roddy Piper.
Totally.
Roddy Piper,
with the bagpipes. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
I think personally.
It was very cool. I don't mean to, talk down about him, but when he went up on those bagpipes, he wasn't blowing them as hard as those other lads.
No, that's
man.
for sure.
Yeah,
but we'll give him credit.
I could never do that myself, so I'm gonna give
it.
him full credit on that. But I'd love to challenge someone else that doesn't know how to play the bagpipes to do that. So
that's for sure, man. But yeah, back to the interview with Davey's wife / Bret's sister. It was kind of long. I know she got cut off.
Yeah,
she did get
she
cut
seemed
off.
like she had a little bit more to say.
At least
she was
10
struggling.
seconds.
I think she was just a little slower with
Yeah.
the
She
delivery.
was very slow with the aspect that she was saying for her promo.
Yeah. Bulldog's entrance was pretty popping.
It was pretty hype. It was
Lennox
pretty
Lewis
hype,
there.
waving the flag.
Waving the flag.
Hype to Lennox Lewis.
Yeah, good for him. I didn't realize that was going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Is he English?
He
British?
must be.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure.
I'm not
but he
100% sure. I'd have
Don't
to
quote us.
pull it
Let
up,
us
but-
know down below. Let us know down below. I wanted to note Bret Hart had a pretty big pop, I thought.
For sure.
For being
sure.
in England.
Yeah.
When he came out, I wrote it down, and then after I wrote it, I'm like,
The crowd
Oh,
were
yeah, he's in
about
England.
him.
so, I mean, him being a big baby face,
Yeah, Bret.
you're going to get that big pop,
Well,
right?
also come from an outside perspective, I personally enjoy him as a character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He just makes me gravitate towards him. So I think
That's good to
amateur
see.
or
Here.
veteran fan in those crowds would be gravitate towards him.
Yeah.
And that's maybe why he got that big bang.
For sure. And we seen him give the glasses away, as per usual.
Yeah.
To that young lad, and I'm sure he's still holding on to those sunglasses to this day.
Yeah, Bobby the Brain Heenan talking about tearing families apart. That's what it's all
Oh
about.
yeah, he was loving this.
He was about that. Remember, like, screw the families. Let's tear it apart and make
Yeah.
whatever money we can.
Oh my god.
He is a straight up savage.
Perfect heel. Perfect heel.
Perfect.
What about some of the action in the match? How did you like it?
I had with a star beside it the Bret Hart patented headlock.
Yeah.
That's a very
Yeah.
Bret Hart move when
Oh,
he
yeah.
gets him right down on the mat, and not in a bad way, but I don't know.
Yeah.
What about you? I thought the crowd was insane too.
Oh yeah. Let's touch
The air
on that a
horns
bit.
that
The air
Tanner-
horns were like going on the
Tanner
entire
mentioned
match.
about earlier.
I love the air horns in that aspect. That might just be a European thing.
And
I
that's
have no idea.
That's a standout for me, man. Because even like I've watched this match so many times just on other DVDs,
Yeah.
just randomly on my own time.
Best of Bret Hart,
And I
best
always-
of Owen Hart. Or
I
not
always
Owen Hart,
remember
but-
that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Those air horns, like always, that's a standout for me because it was literally happening throughout the entire match.
Mm-hmm.
Like the crowd was just so into it.
That's Europe too.
Yeah,
Soccer
yeah.
fans.
That is,
It
but
was
at the
wicked.
same time, I feel like if they go back to Europe, that shit isn't even allowed these days,
Yeah.
unfortunately, because it disrupts the media aspect or the recording aspect, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, it makes it more live. It makes it more upbeat.
Yeah. And the crowd was definitely into it. And I know there was a few times throughout the match where Bret was going for moves and the crowd was obviously going for their hometown guy and they were booing Bret.
For sure.
Bret got some boos throughout
Most
the match.
definitely.
I noted that as well. And this is totally random, maybe
Yeah.
not specifically towards this match, but is there anybody better at bouncing off the ropes than Bret Hart?
Fair point.
Like the way he hits the ropes,
yeah.
I don't think there's anybody still to this day that hits the ropes like him.
Yeah. He was definitely...
I don't know, Dean Ambrose and
What with his little flip thing? I don't want to get into that.
Okay,
Yeah,
we
not
won't,
the flip,
we,
not
we,
the
we
Dean
won't
flip,
get into
but-
that.
His
but
little leg.
There's a few lads in the WWE right now that can definitely hit those ropes on par.
Well, I always
just,
like...
with the intensity that Bret Hart delivers. Trust me, man. I'm not even a
I hear
a
you.
huge Bret Hart fan, but
Yeah.
I
I
just
hear
think
ya.
the way that he can hit the ropes is
He hits them hard.
second to none.
He bounces off them hard and aggressive, and he hits those people with the clothesline hard and aggressive too, or whatever move he's following up with.
Yeah, he's definitely intense. For me personally, I always like the way Bret, like I've said it to you, Nick, before, is like the way Bret hits the turnbuckles.
Yep.
Like, no, I've never...
Face first or chest first, sorry.
The way, just even his back, the snap that's into it, like,
Yeah.
God, you don't see that. And his punches, everything. He's very, very crisp. And Bulldog, great on him too. Like in the earlier part, When they were locking up and doing some of those flips that Bulldog was doing, I was impressed by that.
Bret was vicious though too.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I think both wrestlers were extremely aggressive in this match. It was a dog fight. It was a very much dogfight, especially when you have a sister/wife involved into the mix. I know that was part of the storyline, but that's something you cannot fake.
I'm happy you brought that up because that was something I was going to say. How many times did they show the wife? I feel like she was very involved.
About 4 or 5 times they showed her on a small display.
Yep.
Wow. I don't know. It was
And
good though, no?
She, I don't know if it was actually real emotions or whatnot, but she cried. Like she sold it.
Oh yeah.
She might have not been good on the promo beforehand when she got cut off, but she did a fantastic job in my opinion, especially when she went to the ring after the match was over. The English Bulldog won. English Bulldog raised up. British Bulldog. Apologies.
Well, I don't know. I don't want to say that, but
yeah. Actually, sorry. It was Bret Hart that raised up the English Bulldog's hand or the British Bulldog's hand. And then his wife, or his sister, and then the sister got in between it and raised Bret Hart's and the British Bulldog's hand.
Which also just made for a great visual.
It was a great visual, seeing the two individuals, one is married to her and one is brother and sister. And she's in between, raising both of their hands.
Yeah.
It was a visual to be acknowledged.
no, definitely. I couldn't agree more. I thought it was a really competitive match, and I don't know. I had another question. I know I've been asking a lot of questions tonight, but how do you feel about a kick out on a finish in 1992? Not something you see very often, eh?
Did he kick out towards the end?
He kicked out?
Yeah, well,
right after the 3 kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a kick out on no. I mean, prior to the finish, the actual finish.
Yeah.
Who was it that had done their finisher? Oh my goodness.
Oh, the sharpshooter.
Yeah.
Yeah, he pulled the sharpshooter
there was a kick
British
out.
Bulldog.
There was a kick out prior to that. I don't know if it was a splash or a Bulldog finisher, but Bret Hart kicked out of, because I remember you specifically saying.
Oh, when he did the running power slam.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry. I'm sorry, folks, for not knowing exactly the question I was asking.
He pulled the sharpshooter on the British
But the
Bulldog.
Running power slam, yes, because he also grabbed the ropes on the sharpshooter.
Yeah.
But the kick out on the running power slam, not that it was a big deal. I just, nowadays we see a lot of kickouts on finishers. Roman 5 times at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's Roman.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know your thoughts.
I think it spoke to how much the title meant and how big this match was on that level for these guys. The fact that they're throwing it all out there, and it was a little later in the match when we seen Bulldog kind of get the momentum back, and then he gets Bret for the power slam, and just it was good. I liked it
for sure.
Yeah.
No, I had nothing against it. I just thought it was something to bring up because it's not something we see a lot nowadays.
And the sharpshooter, he had it really synced. He had it really locked in. It was good, the way he had it. He was sitting really low, and it kind of caught me off guard. I always forget. It's funny because the amount of times that I have watched this match, I always forget just how kind of quick and abrupt that finish is. It just comes out of nowhere with that roll up.
I was actually looking down, making a note.
Yeah.
From
you know what I mean? Yeah.
When it happened, and they showed the replay, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, completely out of nowhere with the roll up. It was a really just a good story.
Definitely.
I wanted to bring this up too, just because I had it written down, and we didn't talk about when you talked about the sharpshooter. Sharpshooter. But the fact that Bret started it from the ground, I have never seen somebody start.
We talked about it. Yeah.
A Jesus, I can't even speak tonight.
Well, honestly, when he pulled the sharpshooter, he was having trouble rolling around until the British Bulldog assisted him to roll around.
Normally, you see him stand up, grab both legs, put the leg through.
Oh yeah.
They were both on the ground. And
they were on the ground when they did.
I thought that was really cool.
They're pretty spent at the time.
Even Vince McMahon commented on that he was pulling the sharpshooter, but he didn't think it was going to happen because of where he was trying to pull it from until he twisted over. And I don't know if you've seen the footage, but he tries rolling 3 times until the British Bulldog actually gives him assistance to roll over and pull it through.
Exactly.
Yeah, I thought it was cool because at first, I even said to you, it looked like he was I thought he was slapping his leg away.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He slapped it over and then was starting to lock it on. It was cool.
Yeah, between, that match, I think between Bret Hart and the British Bulldog and Macho Man and the Ultimate Warrior, those 2 matches were on par for being the emotional aspect, if not more. Bret Hart and the British Bulldog.
For sure. No, they were both really good matches, and I think, like Don said, the roll-up was kind of out of nowhere and kind of perfect.
Yeah.
Especially
It was.
to catch the British fans that were in the attendance off guard.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys remember that one aspect
Fantastic.
where Britsh Bulldog picked up Bret Hart and he accidentally threw him over onto the ropes.
Oh, yeah.
If you guys remember that
the
point.
little kind of botch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly.
And then
Bret got
Bret
caught,
Hart
but
pretended that he got...
It looked more real. So.
You know,
Yeah,
Bret
it
Hart...
made-
Bret Hart pulled it off, Bret Hart pulled it off when he hit the ropes, and he pretended that he got hurt, in the general area. And boy, he sold it good for what was happening.
He definitely made it work, yeah.
Totally. That worked.
Which just shows, like, yeah, he's great.
Both those wrestlers, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that was pretty much it as far as the main event goes, unless Don has anything else he wants to mention.
Yeah, just one more thing. Like, man, why isn't the British Bulldog in the Hall of Fame yet? Because he's not. It's kind of fucked up, I think.
I didn't even know that, but
It's a
he
little
definitely
overdue, if you
deserves
ask
to be
me.
there.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I mean?
pretty unbelievable
Yeah.
to know that somebody that significant who
Yeah.
main evented a SummerSlam with somebody like Bret Hart
Yeah.
isn't in the Hall of Fame, an Intercontinental Champion, somebody they were obviously willing to give the Intercontinental Championship to at a time, at that time.
Yeah.
That's a great point to bring up.
Let's get the Bulldog in.
Yeah.
Let's get the Bulldog in.
Let's get the Bulldog.
Hashtag get the Bulldog in.
Yeah, we're starting it here first.
We're starting it here.
So, I think we should probably go into the typical look back, end of the show stuff. What do you guys think? Maybe your moment of the night. Maybe a moment that you're gonna remember. I know this show's old, but a moment you're gonna remember from 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 days from now. As I say in every show, something that's gonna stick out to you.
You go
when
first,
you
Donovan.
think about SummerSlam 1992.
Off the top of my head. I guess definitely, honestly, the match between Warrior and Savage. It was really like
the whole match itself.
Yeah, the amount of time that these guys put in was pretty impressive. I thought, because not to say I thought it was going to be short, but I didn't think it was going to go this long, and it was good. Like they both.
Yeah, it was a lot longer than I expected. As well.
Yeah.
Especially for Warrior's not known to go that distance like normally. I know in a few times he has, but it was good. It was good to see that. So that match, yeah, round of applause to both Savage and the Warrior. And that's like two of my favorites. So that one probably sticks out to me because the main event I had seen so many times. This match I've seen previously, but going back and seeing it now, I can appreciate it so much more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's good to hear. Anything else? Just
and
kind of the one.
also Rick Martel. Yeah.
Just in general.
I'm a huge Rick Martel fan, and he's not in the Hall of Fame either. So let's fucking make that happen.
Yeah, let's get the British Bulldog and Rick Martel in the 2019 Hall of Fame for WWE. Let's make that happen. Tanner, what about you? How are you feeling for standout moments? Like I said, something you're going to think about down the road.
Most standout moments, I would probably have to agree with Donovan on this aspect. Was when Macho Man had the opportunity to capitalize on the Ultimate Warrior, and he did not.
I like that you're specifying a specific moment.
Yeah.
Not to discredit Donovan by any means, but more of a specific moment rather than the whole match itself.
He had more than any opportunity in the world to capitalize on the Ultimate Warrior, and he decided to attack the heel that caused the situation between their match. And that is honorable in its own. And also what is more memorable is when the Ultimate Warrior decided to raise and help Macho Man up and hoist Macho Man's belt. Even though it was a disqualification against Macho Man, he still retains the belt. He put it on his shoulder, and they both raised hands and called it a day. But also, on the side note, the emotional aspect between the two, Bret Hart and the British Bulldog, and the sister/wife involved, was a very emotional journey in the SummerSlam. So those are my, at least, two most pointed, emotional, and standout moments for myself.
Yeah, great answers, man. And I'm really happy with all the input that you've had. Being the fan that you are, not as deep into it as us at the Pro Wrestling LookBack, I've really appreciated it.
Thank you. I appreciate you for having me on tonight.
No, it's been great, man. But I think my personal standout moments, again, same match, but I'm going to get more specific. I think the fact that they played off this whole Mr. Perfect, whose corner is he going to be in?
Yeah, throughout the night.
And we really didn't know, watching the match, we're mid-match. We're 15, 20 minutes into this match, and we're still sitting here thinking,
Who sold out?
yeah, whose side are they on?
Yeah.
They're on nobody's side. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I think that's my personal standout if I'm going to have to give you one.
Yeah.
Second one is Bret Hart and Bulldog after the match.
Yeah.
Because they sold me a little bit. Bret Hart fooled me. I had written down that disrespect. I wrote that, and I had to scratch disrespectful out because
You're completely correct. I thought he was going to walk out of that ring 2 times.
and he came back.
Again,
He
like,
did.
the build. It wasn't like long, but the build.
Exactly.
It was great, yeah.
It wasn't long, but you thought he was going to leave that.
Yeah.
He was about to leave. He came back. He was about to leave again, and then came back and shook Britsh Bulldog's hand.
Yeah.
Celso made a very valid point there.
Yeah. No, thank you.
What about, I was going to ask, okay, man, no love for the earthquake and typhoon? I thought that might have been one of your moments there.
I have a lot of love towards
Yeah, we
earthquake
almost
and
gave
typhoon.
your own segment there with
I know. I had a pretty
where are they
well
now
full
with
segment
Earthquake?
for those two, but they did an absolute fantastic job. I remember when I first saw them come out. I'm not gonna lie, I was laughing. I hope that doesn't come
No,
off
not at
as
all.
offensive or any way such as aspect. But they did an amazing job. It wasn't the most technical fight. Unfortunately, Bo and Blake did do more technical stuff in the Earthquake and Typhoon, but the moves and the way that they capitalized Earthquake and Typhoon was amazing. I didn't expect anything more from those. Or sorry, I didn't expect any more.
Yeah.
But
You got what you expected.
yeah, exactly. I got more than I expected from those big guys moving like they did in that fight.
For sure.
And I give nothing but credit for both of them.
Yeah.
No, for
And
sure, man.
Rest in peace for the one. But
Yeah, I think overall SummerSlam 1992. We'll give a shout out to Donovan for the picking of this one.
Yeah, it was random, but we're in that SummerSlam season.
Yeah, we're gonna try and squeeze one in, maybe in the next 2 weeks or so. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully SummerSlam 2004, maybe if we can squeeze it in before 2018 SummerSlam. But yeah, thanks everybody for listening along so far. If you've got this far into the show, obviously we appreciate you listening to the whole show. And check us out on Instagram, Twitter, like I've said multiple times, at PWLookBack. The email is at prowrestlinglookback.gmail.com. The website, again, all the videos are there just in case anybody wants to check that stuff out. prowrestlinglookback.wordpress.com. Pro Wrestling Lookback on Facebook and YouTube, as I've always said. My personal Twitter is at Salsa, SCELSA. If you want to check me out there, definitely, Star Wars, Formula One, more pro wrestling stuff. And Tanner?
it was nice meeting you guys and girls. I might be back next week. Enjoy the rest of your night. To Donovan.
Yeah, just telling you all to stay classy.
What's your Twitter, Don? Come on. Don't
Hey,
end the
man.
show like that.
Hey.
Don't do it to him.
Hey. Listen, man, you guys, you know my Twitter. So, for all the fans out there, it's at New School Money, but they know that already. So yeah, Don the Model Martel signing off, telling you all to stay classy.